Welcome, everyone. This is Michael Blue, and you've connected to the Fellowship of Kingdom Professionals, the podcast, where we are cultivating makers and shapers of culture. Prepare for a riveting time in the principles and practices of the King and of his kingdom. You are about to be charged, challenged, and changed. I know you're ready. Let's go. May God bless you. This is Michael Blue of the Fellowship of Kingdom Professionals. It is my pleasure once again to be with you and to welcome you to this conversation, a conversation in which we trust that you're being benefited, challenged, that you're being edified, lifted up, exhorted, all of those wonderful words. And we've been talking about interpretation. Time before last in this mini-series, we read from the book of Genesis, chapter 40. I'll just read the clause that stands out for our purposes. And Joseph said unto them, this is 40 and verse 8, do not interpretations belong to God? And of course, the answer is yes, interpretations belong to God. And so we're talking about interpretation, and relatively recently, we shared a lesson using the title, A Gift of Interpretation. So let me quickly talk about a gift of interpretation. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, there is a list of manifestations of the Spirit that are commonly called the 9 gifts of the Spirit. They begin in verse 8 of 1 Corinthians 12. Word of wisdom, word of knowledge, discerning of spirits, prophecy, diverse kinds of tongues, interpretation of tongues, gifts of healing, working of miracles, and faith. Now, in the proper order, the last gift listed is interpretation of tongues. It's listed right after diverse kinds of tongues. And I observe that the gift of the interpretation of tongues is the only gift in the 9 that is dependent upon the operation of another gift in order for it to be necessitated. The other 8 may work autonomously, and they certainly work collaboratively, but only the gift of interpretation of tongues is totally dependent upon the manifestation of another gift.
Lord, I like
and I think that one of the lessons we gain from that is that one may be a gift, and yet one is a gift that is subject or submitted to another in his or her giftedness as well. You do remember in Ephesians chapter 4, the Bible says that God gave gifts to man or to humanity, and the gifts are people: apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher. So in other words, an individual may not only have a gift, but be a gift, and yet be a gift whose function is contingent or dependent upon another fully manifesting himself or herself. That's important. Here's another thing that's important, and then I'm going to introduce our guest today, and that is in the book of Proverbs 18. This is a very widely quoted / misquoted verse. It is verse 16, 18:16. Now, the misquote goes like this: your gift will make room for you. That's the way it's misquoted, okay? The quotation is, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. I remember when I heard that. Let me pause. This is Pastor Elisha Sumo. He is the pastor of the Christ Mission work there in the greater Atlanta, Georgia area, Riverdale, Georgia to be specific. And he is also renowned for sharing the gifts of media and videography and promotions, publicity, and all of the rest. And so we appreciate him. Thank you, Pastor Sumo,
Thank you, sir.
for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
A man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. The word gift in this context is sometimes improperly defined. Often when we use the term gift, we think of a talent or skill, proclivity, propensity, aptitude, and all of that is good. All of that is good. But when you use it with those definitions, then don't be surprised that the verse and its meaning ends up being misapplied, misappropriated.
Oh my.
Here's what I mean. All right. A man's talent makes room for him. A man's skill makes room for him. A man's aptitude makes room for him. Well, listen, and bringing them before great men, and that's men and women. I've known people, and I think we've all known people who were tremendously gifted with that definition.
Mm-hmm.
And they never had room made for them.
Yes, sir.
And they never became or came before great men or men of renown. What happened to them? God can't lie. I submit to you that one of the reasons why those people who were ever so talented, ever so gifted, ever so apt, ever so ingenious did not make it to that platform that this seems to imply is because that's not how God defines the word gift.
Yes.
Not talent, not ability, not aptitude, not propensity, proclivity, although all those things are within the idea, the concept of gifting. But gift here, what is a gift? A gift is that which is given. That's a gift. And as an English teacher, I taught my students, do not use a term to define itself. But for the sake of this discussion, a gift is that which is given or that which is shared with another on others. The reason why a man may have a talent, an ability, a skill, ingenuity, and all the rest, and not have room made for him is because until that talent or that gift, that ability or what have you is given, God says a man's gift makes room for him.
Oh,
we tend to think the talent that I have, the skill that I have, that's the verse, that's the gift in this text. No. The talent that I have is God's gift to me.
Yes.
The skill that I have is God's gift to me. And the Bible does not say God's gift makes room for me. God's gift makes room for God.
My Lord.
My gift makes room for me. How does that talent God gave me become my gift? It becomes my gift when I take what God gave me and give it. And so it is only in the giving that room is made. So if you or I only see ourselves as recipients, or only see ourselves as icons, and paragons of greatness and all that other, don't be surprised if no room is made.
Wow.
If you want to make room, if you want to see room made for you, find yourself giving what God gave you so that God's gift becomes your gift. A man's gift makes room for him. What's important about this relative to this interpretation piece? It is this. When you apply the gifting that God has given you to interpret the dream of another.
Yes, sir.
That is to come to a place of understanding, but also the application of the implications of that person's gift. And I'm not just trying to create a tongue twister. What I mean is, we talked about the fact in the first session that a dream has a wide spectrum of meaning. A dream can be that phenomenon when one is unconscious and the brain waves do what they do.
Yes.
Not only that, but the soul or the spirit can be involved and one can actually receive revelatory dream. Yes, that's one end of the spectrum. But then going all the way to the other end of the spectrum where I'm not asleep at all. I'm conscious, I'm imagining, I'm visualizing, I'm hoping, I'm believing, I'm strategizing. All of that is dream as well. So the full scope of it, well, until one decides that the gift that God gave me is not for me first and exclusively. It is for me to apply it to the interpretation, that is, to the fulfillment of someone else's dream. The implication, the outcome, when I apply some strategy, some technique, then this dream that he has becomes life for someone, becomes business for someone, becomes income for someone, becomes the saving of a family for someone, it becomes health for someone, because I took the gift that God gave me and rather making it my dream, I made it my ability to interpret someone else's dream. Let me just say this before I was about to say speak to it. But before you speak to it, sir, it's so blatantly obvious that the reason why you're in business as you are is because you invest your gifting interpreting the dreams of others.
Solely.
Their dream of excellence in production,
Yes, sir.
the dream of not letting their message be muddled because of the way it's delivered.
Lord.
All of that is a gift of interpretation. So you are, sir, a gift of interpretation. Speak to that. Speak to that.
First of all, of course, it's an honor, pleasure, all of the things. Thank you, sir. Moving into the subject, there is so much.
Oh my.
So much. But I'll attempt to speak personally and then speak from the professional's viewpoint. From a personal standpoint, what I can say is in what I can call my career, every time something major has happened, it happened on the back end of something that I did for free.
Yes. That's good.
And I know that in our culture, free is a word that is abhorred. Giving is beyond free because now I'm at a deficit.
Yeah.
But free in and of itself is, we frown upon that.
Yes.
That you ought to, you got to get what's yours and know your value. We can go down the list of phrases and phrases and phrases, but every time we went to another level, it didn't happen because of somebody we met. It didn't happen because of a handshake. And I don't frown upon those things.
Of course not.
But I understand that if God is ever going to move me, it's going to happen when he whispers in my spirit about something or someone that I am to give what I do to. There is no charge. There is no return. Seemingly, there is seemingly no return. And it is upon obedience to that instruction that something else opens up that moves us to a completely different place. And it has been the same thing since the time that I started. One of the pieces of advice that I give, and I've been giving over the years, is if you ever want to infiltrate a market, give.
That's good.
The speed of your ascent is the speed of your ability to deliver professionally and excellently at no cost. Because that's the only way I'm going to value you over someone who I trust, someone who I've done business with, and someone who I'm comfortable with their price point. And so the gift makes it at least intriguing.
Yes.
And that intrigue gives me an opportunity to enter a market that I've never been in my life. And I think, again, when we go to the culture tells us you gotta get yours. Matter of fact, we've got this doctrine, I think we can call it of self, where we have uplifted the individual.
Oh my.
One of the things that I see so much, even in the church world, is creatives are getting together, not necessarily to push leaders, but to push themselves. And it's a fallacy, but it's a detriment in and of itself, because if nobody hires you, you don't get an opportunity to do anything.
That's true.
And we really have to see it from the standpoint of what I have is absolutely to make somebody else their path easier. And sometimes to make their investment even lower than it's ever been. That their energy that they're spending is lower than it's ever been. We're talking about Joseph, and we're talking about him coming in and interpreting, and then coming in and not just interpreting the dream, but then fulfilling the interpretation of the dream.
That's it.
And what that did was it took the pressure off of Pharaoh. Pharaoh is not working. Pharaoh is not even governing. The weight went on Joseph. And I think one of the important things as we're coming up and growing and helping is what I see it as, and interpreting is understanding that there's only more weight that's coming with it. And your ability to ascend is truthfully and honestly your ability to carry the weight.
That's good.
Carry the weight of your leader, carry the weight of your clientele, carry the weight of those that you know that you are called to. And a word of caution always is, anytime I'm carrying a weight that doesn't belong to me, it has the propensity to crush me.
Oh my. That's good, sir. That's good. Listen, someone listens to that, somebody hears that and says, well, giving. I don't know that I can afford to give. I've got to buy inventory. I've got to. Okay, understand that giving does not just mean pro gratis, pro bono. Okay, it doesn't. If you understand the power of your profession, then one thing that you must understand is that no one can afford to buy you.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So when you receive whatever financial remuneration, it can't be seen as a purchase.
Yes.
It has to be seen as honor for what you gave.
Yes.
Or in other words, this is an honorable sum. This is an honorable amount. It'll help me to pay for inventory. It'll make me feel good about having gotten up this morning. All of that.
Yes.
But I'm going to make sure that what I invest in you is still worth more than what you have ever given.
Yes, sir.
So it's still giving. So giving doesn't mean that you didn't get a check. It means that check didn't buy you.
Yeah.
Giving does not mean that you didn't get the Cash App or whatever it was. It just means that the Cash App is not worth as much as you are worth. And if you cannot look squarely in the eye of that person you're serving and attest that what I brought to this equation, what I brought this transaction is worth far more than what these dollars represent,
yes,
then basically you've made yourself a kind of professional, I think you understand. You've been bought. Nobody should ever presume to be able to buy you because no one can afford you. Don't put yourself on that level. All right? So I'm always a giver. I will always underpromise and overperform.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Joseph,
Lord have mercy,
in the life of Pharaoh, not only made him a very rich man. If you read the scripture carefully, you'll find out he became the owner of the entire. If you know anything about ancient history, you know that Pharaoh became revered as a god. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt ultimately became revered as gods. What set that in motion? It may very well have been the fact that through Joseph, they came to own all the real estate.
My God.
All the cattle, and ultimately all the people.
My God.
Because they kept selling everything they had to buy grain to find and said, Pharaoh, we don't have anything left for us. So we have to sell ourselves. And Pharaoh, he dealt with them graciously. He didn't just make them all a nation of slaves, but basically he owned Egypt. My point simply is Pharaoh owned Egypt because Joseph interpreted his dream and then interpreted the interpretation.
Yes,
that
sir.
is, he facilitated the proper application of the implications
yes, sir.
of that dream.
Yes, sir.
And what I'm saying to you is that God will position you next to some pharaoh, next to some supervisor, some manager, some superior. It may even be a mentee. It may be someone who is actually coming to you for you to be their consultant. But I'm saying to you that when you put yourself second and give into that person's life of the gift of interpretation that God has made you, so much so that God's gift makes room for God, but now your gift makes room for you. Listen, Joseph's ability to interpret and his ability to dream prophetically remained intact when he was thrown into that pit.
Yes.
It remained intact when he was sold to Potiphar's house. Joseph could have kept his mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
He could have kept his arms except for doing the minimal amount of work.
Yep.
And would have just been a rank and file slave. But when he began to give of that gifting, room was made for him. And wherever he went, he always rose because he knew the power of his giving. I submit to you that as you give of the gifting of God and see that as a means of interpreting the dream of another, nothing can ultimately hold you down. Pastor Sumo said just now that one may infiltrate a market,
Lord.
I can keep
Lord.
you from selling me something,
Lord.
but I cannot prevent you from giving me something.
Lord.
And so all of a
Lord.
sudden, I have eliminated the barriers. I've eliminated
The walls have come
all
down.
the walls.
Oh, yes.
Because you can't prevent me from, if I have to leave it on your doorstep, if I have to send it by FedEx,
Oh,
you
yes.
can't prevent me. So all of a sudden, I've taken charge. No wonder Jesus said it is more blessed
Yes, sir.
to give than to receive, because all of a sudden, I've taken charge of the situation. So I just say to you, Kingdom Professional, I'm going to ask Pastor Sumo to say something else. I don't want to have him here and not have him say anything except that segment that he already gave us so powerfully. But I want to encourage you that it has been widely shared among those who are professional consultants to professionals that if you want to get in a certain market, into a certain arena, into a certain field, give your way into it.
Give your way in.
Volunteer. So we're not hiring. Fine. Let me voluntarily
Lord.
demonstrate
Lord.
what I'm capable of. Because what I give you today, you'll buy to have access to it tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Can't buy me, but you'll buy to, you understand, you'll be willing to pay. If you don't believe me, ask Sam's Club. The reason why Sam in Sam's Club gives samples, SUMPLES, is because samples pull. Sam pulls with samples. Sam knows that what I give you today, you'll buy tomorrow.
My God.
If it's good enough, you'll buy it today. As a matter of fact,
right.
you're going to get your wallet.
You'll get you right now.
And so it's not, in Sam's mind, it's not SAMPLES. That's not how he spells it. He spells it SAM space PULLS. It's Sam pulls.
My God.
And when you give,
oh my,
you just pulled favor in your direction.
Oh my.
Come on, sir.
I would probably just end with encouragement. And I think that encouragement, I believe it's Psalm 105. I believe it is, but it provides proper perspective for difficult parts of the journey. The reason why I say that is, as a professional, as you're going about your career, it will get dark. It will absolutely get dark.
Yes,
it may start dark. And it may start dark and go dark for a while. And I think that Psalm 105 text, I believe it is, gives so much encouragement. The Bible says that God sent a man before him.
That's what it says.
His name was Joseph. Now, if I'm dealing with the life of Joseph, it doesn't look like much sending, Bishop. It just don't look like much sending. He is sold by his brothers, thrown in a cistern, all of the rest, Potiphar's house, and he's thrown into jail and all the rest. And he is able to continue to thrive, one dream after the other, none of them being his own.
Yes.
And I just, it's so important for us that we don't get so bent out of shape along the journey that we stop interpreting dreams.
Yes.
The dreams that you interpret, the gift that you are, that you continue to be, regardless of what's come against us. There are those that will take advantage of who you are, those that will take advantage of your heart, those that will take advantage of your abilities. And if you succumb to that pressure and you no longer are who you are, you don't even realize you're literally one dream away from an audience that will change your life. And we just have to keep that mindset. Every day for the last 10 years, since the day that I started my business, every day I wake up and I recite to myself, today could be the day my life changes forever, because I'm committed that no matter what happens, with every new dream, I'm going to continue to interpret. Or in another way to say it, I'm going to continue to tell the story.
Yes.
And every professional is an interpreter by default.
Yes.
By default. You are an interpreter by default. And it is incumbent upon us to shed the trauma. You've given us the series of a lifetime to release the offense so that you can continue to interpret the dream.
That is so good. That is so good. And know this, when Jesus set his interpreters out, he armed them accordingly. Be ye therefore wise as serpents harmless as dove.
Lord.
And so discernment will inform you not to cast your pearls before swine, neither give that which is holy to dogs.
Lord.
You may have a few bumps and abrasions, but God won't leave you. And he will give you discernment so that your decision to give is not a decision for self-destruction, because that's not what we're espousing or commending to you. What we're simply saying is that when you go into an honorable system, or if you're sent to bring honor to a dishonorable system, you'll have to give your way into it. You'll have to give your way up in it.
Yes, sir.
You'll have to give your way underneath it, to
Yes,
lift it, to shift it for the glory and the honor of God. But what God will do is that he will reveal someone's heart to you. He'll reveal someone's passion to you, and he will enable you to do what no one else has been able to do, to bring light to that, to interpret that, and then to make application of the implications of that God-given dream. I want you to believe that. Thank you for being with us. This is Michael Blue of the Fellowship of Kingdom Professionals, encouraging you to go forth today and lead. Thank you, Pastor Sumo. Make the name of Jesus Christ glorious. Make the career of Satan ever more brief and ever more miserable. Together we shall bring pleasure to Christ's heart and fame to his name. God bless you.
Thank you for listening to the Fellowship of Kingdom Professionals, FKP, the podcast. If you'd like more engagement, click the link in the show notes to join like-minded professionals in the FKP Facebook group. Follow us at Bishop M.A. Blue on all platforms. Finally, be sure to rate and review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. May God bless you until we meet again.